And Allen will pick the winners in each age category. Full rules for the contest can be found on the City of Toronto's website. We'll check gas prices next. 6 City News Time, 10:09.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
680 News Radio Toronto.
Hi, it's Albert from Maple Auto Mall. Getting out of a lease is easier than you may think, but it depends on a few factors. At Maple Auto Mall, we're happy to help you navigate through the process. Plus, there's a high demand on many cars today, and that can work in your favor. Just reach out and tell us what kind of car you have and what you'd like to drive instead.
Get the best selection and service at mapleautomall.com.
Finest cars for all, Maple Auto Mall.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
Now the News Radio Toronto gas price update. Empro predicts the price will not change at midnight, staying at $1.54.9 a litre at most GTA stations. Your traffic and weather together next. 6 City News Time, 10:10.
Hi, this is Valeria, Martin Daniel Interiors. Every time I return from a buying trip in Europe, I'm bursting with ideas. You'll be inspired too by visiting our in-store design center and 4 beautiful furniture galleries. Each gallery has its own trend-setting European furniture and accessories. I adore my store. We're at Steeles east of Kiel and martindaniel.interiors.com.
Everything's on sale now at Martin Daniel Interiors annual spring sale. Big warehouse savings, too.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Time 10:11. Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Asher Roth.
Well, this report is brought to you by The Simple Investor. If you're traveling on the westbound 401, there's a new problem in Scarborough. So as you approach Nielsen in the collectors, the right lane is blocked. And then just a little further up in the transfer to the express lanes, the right lane of that, or pardon me, the left lane of that transfer is blocked. So I believe this is all the same problem. But first, it's the right lane of the collectors and then the left lane of the transfer to the express. Lots of emergency crews are there. Traffic's getting around it, but you've got to zigzag a little bit. Just be careful. If you are traveling on beyond there on the westbound 401, there is a moving maintenance crew that is making its way. Currently, they are situated just past Bayview in the express. They're working in the 2 right lanes. So expect delays. They're making their way towards Avenue. If you're traveling on the Niagara-bound QEW, the ramp to Eastport is closed for some construction. Toronto-bound QEW, we had a stalled vehicle reported near Bartlett. Traffic spotter tells us that it is cleared. No confirmation yet from MTO. Southbound 427 at Burnham-Thorpe in the collectors. 2 left lanes are blocked there for construction. And also the transfer to the collectors approaching Burnham-Thorpe is shut down. That's also for road work. Is now a good time to buy investment real estate? Yes. At The Simple Investor, they make sure you get rent every month, have no tenant interaction, and no repair costs. Find out more at thesimpleinvestor.com. With the forecast meteorologist, Rob Haswell.
Still a chance for a few flurries late this evening and overnight tonight. A strong southwest wind at around 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, low near 0 tonight. Should have a few more flurries or rain showers throughout the day on Tuesday. Strong west wind at a high near 5. Wednesday will get to a high near 3. Still a chance for a few flurries. Once again, the overnight low near 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, an overcast sky. It's 3 degrees, feeling like -3. 6 City News Time, 10:13. City councillors could be in for a big pay hike this year. Toronto City Council will vote this week on whether to give themselves a 24% pay increase after a report determined they make far less than their counterparts in similar cities. The report notes councillors have not seen a pay rise outside of inflation adjustments since 2006. Staff is recommending an increase of $33,000 to councillors' base salary for this year, putting council pay within the 75th percentile of elected officials in comparable municipalities. Mayor Chow, who is not eligible for a salary hike, tells the Toronto Star the recommended increase is too steep and is urging council members to consider the city's precarious financial situation when the issue goes to a vote later this week. Still to come on News Radio Toronto, A recap of your top headlines and a check of sports. 6 City News Time, 10:14.
In an economic crisis, you want Mark Carney on your side. As governor of the Bank of Canada, he steered us through the 2008 global financial crisis. He led the Bank of England through the Brexit crisis. And now he's ready to stand strong against Donald Trump's tariffs. Canadians are ready for change, and Mark Carney has the plan that will cut taxes for the middle class, create new jobs, and build the fastest growing economy in the G7. With Mark Carney, we keep Canada strong.
Authorized by the registered agent for the Liberal Party of Canada.
Oh, hello, scary monster from my nightmares. Why aren't I scared of you? Because I'm dreaming this nightmare in my new Vågstranda mattress from IKEA. I'm too comfortable and cozy to be scared. Oh no, scary monster, please don't cry. Look, I'm scared.
Visit IKEA today and start sleeping better tomorrow with everything you need for the bedroom of your dreams.
Toronto's trusted news. 680 News Radio.
Right now in downtown Toronto, a partly cloudy sky, +3 feeling like -3. Over at Pearson, an overcast sky. It's only +1 feeling like -5. Good evening, I'm Kate Hayes. Here are the top stories this hour. The first full day of federal election campaigning saw Newfoundland, Montreal, and the 905 in the spotlights for party leaders. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre spoke in Brampton, Ontario, promising a middle-class tax cut following yesterday's Liberal pledge that involves a lower reduction to the same tax rate. Durham police are trying to determine if the unprovoked attack over the weekend in the Ajax Public Library after a woman went up to a Muslim woman studying and allegedly tried to light her hijab on fire should be treated as a hate crime. Calls on the government's now growing to do more against Islamophobia. And coming up after sports.
Is it an act of patriotism or pettiness? The mayor says where possible, she wants all American flags removed from city property amid the ongoing tariff war with our American neighbors.
6 City News Time, 10:16. Time for sports. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Mike Leach.
Kate, the Raptors and Wizards meeting up tonight at Capital One Arena in Washington. Toronto getting off to a slow start against the Wiz, falling behind early, but a solid defense turning into offense for the Raps in the second quarter.
Cool. Up top to Sarr. On the floor. Got a step on Pirtle. Lost the handle, though. Turns it over. Raptors push ahead, and they get a soft flush from Ochai to put the lead at 3.
This game close until the final few minutes. Raptors pulling away 112-104. The final, they meet up with the Nets in Brooklyn on Wednesday to the Women's March Madness south of the border in the NCAA. In Region 1 in Baton Rouge, number 3 seed Kim Mulkey's LSU flushing Florida State 101-71. Region 2, number 4 seed Maryland outlasting Alabama 111-108 in double overtime. To the ice in the NHL, Devils and Canucks tied 3-3 in overtime on Prime Video. The Maple Leafs hitting the ice tomorrow at home against Philly. The Blue and White inking college free agent Luke Hames to a 2-year deal tonight. He'll spend the rest of the season with the Marlies. The Blue Jays making their way back north. Spring training is done. That means opening day, also known as the greatest day of the year, coming up on Thursday with Baltimore in at Rogers Center. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
6 City News Time, 10:17.
To the rack if you come from away.
Come From Away is the global sensation the Toronto Star calls joyous, uplifting, and life-affirming. And now it's been extended one final time and must leave Toronto on May 4th. Experience the homegrown hit that will restore your faith in humanity and make you proud to be a Canadian. See Come From Away one last time. Final performance May 4th. Book at mervish.com.
Infinity's Accelerate into Spring sales event couldn't be stronger at Infinity of Willowdale and Newmarket Infinity. Let's take a brand new luxurious 7-passenger QX60 of your choice to lease for 36 or 48 months at an approved loyalty rate of 0.99%. You know what that really means? An impressive and fuel-efficient, state-of-the-art luxury car for your whole family for a lot less than you think. It's Willowdale or Newmarket for Infinity.
6 City News Time, 10:18. The UK government is ordering an investigation into the Heathrow Airport shutdown that caused travel chaos over the weekend.
Heathrow Airport has already announced its own review to be led by former Transport Secretary Ruth Kelly, but the British government now launching its own probe into the incident, focusing on the country's energy resilience. Heathrow was shut down late last week by a fire at an electrical substation. Investigators say the incident was not deemed to be suspicious, but it has raised concerns about the country's ability to withstand attacks on critical infrastructure. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
Should the city take down American flags? 6 Cities' Momin Qureshi is finding out.
One of the most patriotic symbols a country has is its flag, and the mayor doesn't want the Star-Spangled Banner flying above any city-owned property. She wants them taken down.
If we have control over some of the land, we sometimes don't, because some of the American flags are on property that are governed by a board of directors.
There's actually only a handful of city properties that have American flags, including the Leaside Memorial Community Gardens. That's where I found Rob wearing his Canada hat on the way in to play a game of shinny, telling me this is a move he supports.
I agree. I think it's a patriotic thing to do, and I think at this point we're in an existential crisis in Canada, unfortunately, due to one person, and I think we need to sort of stand together and show our unity.
In Leaside, I'm Momin Qureshi.
Toronto police have identified the city's latest murder victim as a 16-year-old boy. Detective Sergeant Mike Taylor says officers were called to the 49th floor of the ICE condo tower at 12 York Street Sunday evening.
And they located a male who had an obvious sign of a gunshot wound, and he was declared deceased at the scene. He was not transported from the scene.
Detectives believe the boy was shot earlier in the day and were alerted to the body after the suspect turned himself in. They are calling this an isolated incident as the victim and suspect were alleged friends. 19-year-old Elijah Chapman has been charged with second-degree murder. Coming up in 60 seconds, your traffic and weather together. 6 City News Time, 10:20.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel John Murray of the Salvation Army. For the first time in our history, we're asking you to donate 25% less. Yes, you heard that right. With tariffs looming and economic uncertainty growing, more Canadians than ever need help. But if there's one thing we know, it's that Canadians show up for each other when it matters most. We can't ask for more, so we're asking for less. Visit salvationarmy.ca and donate 25% less today.
At iCare Appliance Repair, honesty and integrity are guaranteed because we know that trust doesn't get a second chance. iCare won't recommend replacing parts that don't need to be replaced, and you never pay for an unsuccessful repair. When our technician comes to your home, rest assured they're highly trained, certified, insured, and have a clear background check. Call iCare and you'll reach a team member, not a call center. No one cares more than iCare. Google iCare Appliance Repair or visit iCareRepair.ca.
6 City News Time, 10:21. Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Asher Roth.
This report is brought to you by Don Valley North Toyota. So if you're traveling westbound on the 401, there's a collision right by Nielsen in the collector lanes. So the right lane of the collectors is blocked, and then just a little further up in the transfer to the express lanes, the left lane is blocked there. So expect a slight delay. It's not too bad as drivers are able to get around it. Emergency crews have done a nice job setting up the pylons and blocking access to those scenes, but just be careful. If you're headed east on the 401, there's a stalled vehicle east of Leslie in the collectors. The right lane is blocked. This one just came in. If you're traveling on the Niagara-bound QEW, there's construction being set up. Starts approaching Fairview. It's in the two left lanes, and then further up the ramp to Eastport is closed for construction. Northbound 427, that stalled vehicle near Langstaff has now cleared away. So is the stalled vehicle on the Toronto-bound QEW at Bartlett. If you're headed Toronto-bound through Oakville at Dorval, the HOV lane is blocked for construction. More construction on the southbound 427 at Burnham-Thorpe in the collectors. Two left lanes are blocked. The transfer to the collectors approaching Burnham-Thorpe is also off limits. And up in Richmond Hill, there is still emergency construction northbound on Leslie, north of 16th Avenue. It's got you down to a single lane. Another satisfied Toyota driver, and they got it from Don Valley North Toyota. Find out why. Visit the showroom or DonValleyNorthToyota.com, a division of Wayne's Auto Group. With the extended forecast, here is meteorologist Rob Haswell.
Still windy with a few flurries late evening and overnight tonight. Strong southwest southwest wind continues and shifts west heading into Tuesday. A few flurries or even rain showers on Tuesday with a high near 5. Wednesday, still a few flurries in the forecast, high near 3. We get some sunshine into the forecast on Thursday, at least for a few hours, as it gets cloudier again by Thursday night, high near 8. Friday brings rain back into the forecast, possibly freezing rain by Friday night. Once again, a windy low overnight near 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy sky. It's +3, feeling like -3, a bit chillier over at Pearson at +1, feeling like -5. Still to come on News Radio Toronto, the latest on promises and pledges from Canada's major party leaders on day one of the federal election campaign across the country, tax cuts and the trade war in the spotlight today. We'll have more on that coming up at the bottom of the hour. 6 City News Time, 10:24.
Supporting Canadian businesses has never been more important. That's why Canada Post is committed to making it easier to ship Canadian with our best rates ever. Right now, your business will save up to 70% on expedited shipping and returns. Plus, as a Toronto-based business, you can access rates as low as $3.50 for lightweight local packages. It's time to shop Canadian, ship Canadian. Learn more about our best rates at canadapost.ca/shipcanadian.
Ask your smart speaker to play 680 News Radio Toronto.
6 City News Time, 10:25. The Raptors with a much better showing on the second night of the back-to-back on the road in Washington. 6 City's Mike Leach has the story.
After getting blown out at home on Sunday, the Raptors responding with a better effort in a 112-104 win over the Wizards at Capital One Arena. Washington getting off to a good start and leading early, but Raps head coach Darko Rajakovic pleased with the way his team locked in on defense.
And outside of first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, we allowed Jordan Poole to get some easy shots at the end, at the start of the game. After that, I thought that our defense was solid.
Jordan Poole leading the scoring with 23 points. Bub Carrington with a double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds. Jakob Poeltl also doing the double-double, turning in 21 points and pulling down 11 boards. Emmanuel Quickly also with 21 points in the win for the Raps. I'm Mike Leach.
The demolition of a Toronto landmark is raising concerns among neighbors about whether the city is doing enough to protect heritage structures. The Palace Arms Hotel at King and Strawn and was torn down to make way for a new condo building. As Michelle Mackey of City News reports, the new building will have 231 units, including 40 affordable housing units, which some King West residents say isn't enough.
That sentiment has been a big topic of discussion since redevelopment talks began about a decade ago, says Adam Wynn, a volunteer with the Toronto and East York Preservation Panel.
When it was first announced, there's a lot of controversy around the affordable housing aspect of displacement of the almost 100 socioeconomically marginalized tenants.
Built in 1890, the Palace Arms is a designated heritage site that initially operated as a hotel and more recently was used as a rooming house. City Council initially approved the new build in 2021 if the front facade was maintained. But the city says it discovered the brickwork was in bad shape and wouldn't withstand the construction. And so in 2024, Council approved a complete demolition, salvaging reusable materials to be incorporated into a commemorative facade.
One element salvaged by developers appears to be the cone roof from the original Palace Arms, which is being stored across the street. 6 City News Time, 10:27.
Search Kings is saying out loud what many small business owners are thinking. What good is a digital plan and all of its buzzwords if it doesn't make the phones buzz at your business? Discover instead what thousands of Canadian business owners already know. The phone rings with Search Kings. And with Call Intelligence, evaluating, summarizing, and scoring every incoming call, you never have to say, I wonder what's working. You want to stand out where your customers are online? Switch to Search Kings.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Now time for the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Here's Richard Detman.
The tariff situation continues to dominate markets today to the upside. The TSX gaining 1 1/3%, 335 points. Meanwhile, in New York,
investors buying up beaten-down shares and on signals from President Trump that his retaliatory tariffs, slated to go into effect next week, could be a lot narrower than anticipated. And with that, the Dow shot up 598 points, nearly 1.5% higher. The Nasdaq up more than 2%, 405 points, and the S&P added 100. The private equity firm Clear Lake Capital is paying $4 billion to acquire Dun & Bradstreet, the financial data and analytics firm. And sales of activewear soaring last quarter thanks to rising interest in tennis, running, golf, and especially, according to Centric Market Intelligence, pickleball. Sales of pickleball gear up more than 600%. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
The trade war could hurt prospects for decarbonizing the Canadian and U.S. economies. Canada is a world leader in making lower carbon aluminum and has been building up its EV sector, but both could be hurt by tariffs. There's also the possibility of harm to Canadian exports of critical minerals and power grid equipment used in U.S. electrification, plus the new administration shift away from decarbonization policies. But the electric vehicle manufacturing chain could benefit because EVs have fewer border-crossing parts than internal combustion autos. The dollar, 69.85 cents U.S., oil, 69.25 U.S. a barrel, gold, 3,014 an ounce. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery early bird deadline is midnight Friday. Change everything with a beautiful Muskoka Lakefront Cottage early bird prize, complete with $50 grand. Plus, you'll be in to win a gorgeous Georgian Bay show home and a $9 million grand prize, an Oakville show home, and $500,000. Early bird deadline is midnight Friday. Ticket to fund life-saving cancer research. Carry the fire. Buy now at PrincessMargaretLotto.com. Play responsibly. Raffle number 1426743.
86 deliveries made.
11 friends' houses moved.
9 renos completed, and the next one on its way.
Measure your Tundra's capability in memories, not just mileage. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2025 Tundra 4x4 Crewmax SR from $150 weekly for 36 months at 4.79% with $5,800 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Ontario Toyota dealer today.
680 News Time, 10:30.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 680 News Radio, Toronto.
It is Monday, March 24th. Good evening. I'm Jasmine Graywell.
I'm Kate Hayes. Here's what's making news right now.
From cutting taxes to building homes, federal party leaders are making promises to voters as they hit the hustings on their first full day of campaigning in the federal election.
Mayor Olivia Chow is voicing her hopes for Toronto's future ahead of the federal election, calling on the candidates to focus on affordable housing and transit here in the city.
The woman attacked at the Ajax Public Library Saturday fears for her daughter's futures.
What if my hijab had caught on fire?
The suspect could face hate crime charges.
Hudson's Bay liquidation sales begin.
Yeah, we got a good deal. I would say 60%.
You can use your gift cards, but not your loyalty points.
The Raptors roll past the Wizards down in D.C. and the NCAA Women's March Madness wrapping up round 2. Sports at 45.
The TSX gained 336 points, the Dow 598. A Canadian investment firm changes the name of its U.S.-focused subsidiary to Made in America Gold. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 10:31.
And now time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. How's it looking out there, Asher?
Well, Jasmine, there's finally things to talk about. This report brought to you by 407 ETR. Good news for me. For drivers, less so, but at least there are no major delays. So on the westbound 401, there's a collision at Nielsen in the collectors. You'll find the right lane blocked, and then a little further up, as the transfer to the express begins, the left lane of that transfer is blocked as well. It's all due to the same issue. Emergency crews are on scene. Eastbound 401, east of Leslie in the collectors, the right lane is partially, actually now fully blocked. That is due to a stalled vehicle. MTO have now arrived on the scene. If you're on the southbound 427, south of the 401, the left lane is blocked there because of a stalled vehicle. Looks like there's also another vehicle off to the right shoulder. Not sure if it's related to that same issue. And then beyond there at Burnham Thorpe in the collectors, the 2 left lanes are blocked for construction and the transfer to the collectors is also shut down. Enjoy stress-free travel on Highway 407 ETR. Create a My account today. Visit 407etr.com. With the forecast, here's Rob Haswell.
Chance for a few flurries for the remainder of the evening and overnight tonight. Still very windy conditions. Southwest at around 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, steady and gusting at times in excess, likely at times near 50 kilometers per hour. Our overnight low dips to near zero.
Right now in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy sky, +3, feeling like -3. 680 News Time, 10:33.
Canada votes 2025.
With Election Day just 5 weeks away, federal party leaders are hitting the campaign trail hard, trying to sway those undecided voters while dishing out their last-minute promises.
Tax cuts and how to deal with the U.S. trade war are top of mind on the first full day of campaigning. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney joins us with the latest.
We'll start off in Montreal, where NDP leader Jagmeet Singh vows to build 100,000 rent-controlled homes across Canada by 2035.
Everywhere there's federal land, we want to see homes being built that are affordable.
In Brampton, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre promises a middle-class tax cut by reducing the lowest income tax bracket by 2.25%.
This is a tax cut that will put Canada first.
Meanwhile, Liberal leader Mark Carney in Gander, Newfoundland, where thousands of Americans were stranded during 9/11. He spoke about the deep ties of our two countries and the need to get through this trade war. He had no specific new policy announcement, but when asked why he hasn't spoken to President Trump since taking office, Carney says Trump is waiting for the outcome of the election before engaging. We're also learning today that the leaders' debates in French and English will be held April 16th and 17th in Montreal. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 10:35. Mayor Olivia Chow is not shying away from sharing Toronto's wish list for any federal leader that's willing to listen. 680's Mohamed Qureshi has more from City Hall.
With the federal election campaign now in full swing, Mayor Olivia Chow says she's around if any of the federal leaders want to sit down and have a conversation about Toronto's wants and needs in this campaign. She says what the city is looking for is pretty obvious.
Pretty straightforward. Build more homes faster. Right? Build more affordable, supportive home faster. Feed more kids. And get public transit moving. Get Toronto moving. TTC, we need better TTC services. And get some infrastructure done. So those are straightforward things that we need.
She says she'd also like to see more money for rent supplements to help people try to find more permanent housing quickly, and possibly some extra dollars for when Toronto hosts the FIFA World Cup next year. I'm Oman Qureshi.
680 News Time, 10:35. Hudson's Bay has begun liquidating all but 6 of its stores. 680's Phil Martino joins us from the Fairview Mall location with more on the closure and just how big the discounts are for shoppers.
The sale signs are up all over Hudson's Bay inside Fairview Mall. 20, 30, 40, and 50% off. Toronto resident Vita is among the shoppers who came to check out the deals.
I'm so sad that they're closing. I heard that there's a huge liquidating sale, so we're just getting here now and excited to see what the sales are.
Karen, who was at Hudson's Bay with her husband, was able to get a bargain.
We heard it on the radio. We knew that this was one of the stores that was liquidating, aside from the 6 that are remaining, and we needed pillows, so we came for pillows. Yeah, we got a good deal. I would say 60%.
Hudson's Bay is hoping to wrap up this liquidation by June 15th. All sales will be final at liquidation stores. I'm Phil Martino.
680 News Time, 10:37. The Eglinton Crosstown could open later this year, and now city staff say they've reached a milestone when it comes to the Eglinton East LRT. As Mark McAllister of City News reports, there is a small development in the project, but there's still a long way to go.
For those on board TTC buses moving through Scarborough, it's likely no consolation that the potential Eglinton East LRT has completed its environmental assessment process. Instagram posts from the city are calling it a win, but ask those who live here, and a map laying out 27 stops and more plans at 10% design is hardly a victory at this point.
They're going to replace the Scarborough light rail transit with a bus lane in there, but in the meantime, you just take a drive up Kennedy Road. It's bumper to bumper.
Last month, City Council did approve moving ahead with the next phase of design for the Eglinton East LRT. However, at this point, there's still no support from the province or the federal government. Mark McAllister, City News.
It's a crime that has shaken the community. A Muslim woman who was attacked at the Ajax Public Library on the weekend says she fears for the safety of her daughters, who also wear hijabs. 680 Charlene Close has the latest.
She was studying for a big exam on Saturday when another woman started yelling obscenities at her, then tried to rip off her headscarf and set it on fire. She's sharing her horrific story in a statement read by Fatima Abdullah with the National Council of Canadian Muslims.
What if my hijab had caught on fire? What if the scissors and the metal object she threw at me had struck my neck instead of missing? I can't stop replaying those possibilities in my mind.
She's also worried about her daughters.
They could become targets for hate and violence.
25-year-old Kellyanne Fryer of Ajax is charged with 2 counts of assault and 3 counts of failing to comply with a probation order. The Crown is considering whether hate crime charges should also be laid. I'm Charlene Close.
Coming up, your gas price update. 6 City News Time, 10:39.
The Rocket.
You have a range, clear to launch. 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
Your all-access pass to the hardest-hitting rock on the planet. Linkin Park, Disturbed, Alice in Chains, System of a Down, wall-shaking anthems. All killer, no filler. Hard rock. All day, all night.
We have a liftoff.
The Rocket, Canada's rock and roll flamethrower. Listen on the Seeker app or online at listentotherocket.com. Seeker.
And now the News Radio Toronto gas price update. TEDPro predicts the price will not change at midnight, staying at $1.54.9 a litre at most GTA stations. Coming up, traffic and weather together on the ones. 6 City News Time, 10:40.
Greetings from New Jersey. We're here to welcome you to culture-rich cities and time-honored towns, boardwalks and beautiful beaches. Enjoy thrill rides, casinos, spectacular shopping meccas, and of course, our famous Jersey Shore. Plan your vacation at visitnj.org/ca.
Kalani Kitchen and Bath, how can I help you?
I'm looking for a Riabel touchless kitchen faucet in brushed gold. Do you have it in stock?
Yes, we actually have all the gold faucets in stock.
Even the Riabel shower kit with matching faucet?
Yep, we've got that too.
Thanks. And by the way, why is the sign at your Barrie location upside down?
Well, we just wanted to see if you were paying attention. Kalani Kitchen and Bath. Visit kalani.ca for your nearest location.
6 City News Time, 10:41, and now time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Asher Roth.
And this report is brought to you by Subaru. So if you're traveling on the eastbound 401, there's a stalled vehicle east of Leslie in the collectors. The right lane is blocked. It is not really causing you a delay. If you're on the westbound 401, there is a collision at Nielsen in the collectors. The right lane's blocked, and then a little further up, the left lane of the transfer to the express is blocked. So this is all because of the same issue. It's not really causing a delay. You can get around it. If you're traveling on the Niagara-bound QEW, crews are in the process, we are told, of closing access to the Burlington Skyway on the Niagara-bound side. So if you're familiar with this closure, that's happened before in recent months. I believe it's been since the fall. We haven't quite seen it, but beyond Plains Fairview, you were forced into that collector lane and then onto Eastport, and then you can cross the lift bridge, and we believe that you can then get back onto the Niagara-bound QEW beyond the lift bridge using that Eastport on-ramp. We're just trying to get confirmation from MTO. The closure is not in place yet, but once it is, we'll have a better idea. Southbound 427, south of the 401, the left lane's blocked because of a stalled vehicle, and then there's construction at Burnhamthorpe in the collectors. It's blocking the 2 left lanes, and the transfer to the collectors approaching Burnhamthorpe is also shut down. And if you're on the eastbound 407 at Huron, Ontario, the 3 left lanes are blocked. That is for road work. Hurry to the all-in-one event for great offers and experience all the features that come standard in a Subaru. With the forecast, here's Rob Haswell.
Flurries still possible late evening and overnight tonight. Strong southwest wind, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Shifting to the west on Tuesday. Tuesday still has a chance for rain showers and flurries with a high near 5. Our overnight low dips to near 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. 3 degrees feels a lot like -3. 6 City News time, 10:43. Now, Toronto councillors could soon see a major bump in their pay. The local politicians are set to vote on whether or not to give themselves a salary increase of nearly 25%. In a report, the city manager and chief people officer recommended city council approve an increase to ward councillors' base salary to just over $170,500. Their current pay is a little more than $137,500. The report says the last adjustment to compensation for councillors, aside from inflationary increases, was adopted by City Council back in 2006, and it determined elected officials in Toronto earn less than their counterparts in similar jurisdictions. The report is set to be debated at a City Council meeting that begins on Wednesday. Up next, we take a look at your top stories for the evening and your sports with Mike Leach. 6 City News time, 10:44.
A little heads up from Sleep Country. Over the years, your body's been shedding kilograms of straight into your aging mattress. That's not even counting millions of crawling little critters. Oh, there should have been a there. When your mattress or pillow is loaded with this much time to switch. During the Time to Switch event at Sleep Country, get a Kingsdown twin mattress at the low price of $649. But hurry up, this offer ends soon. Restrictions apply. Speak to a sleep expert for details. Only at Sleep Country.
I drove my wife to the hospital in this car the day my daughter was born.
This van took our family on some of the best
and worst road trips.
Every vehicle holds memories, which makes saying goodbye tough. Give your car a legacy to remember. Donate it to Kidney Car. Your donation will help Canadians living with kidney disease, and that's a memory you can cherish. Kidney Car offers fast, free towing, plus a minimum tax receipt of $700. Donate at kidneycar.ca.
Toronto's trusted news. 680 News Radio.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. 3 degrees feels a lot like -3. Good evening. I'm Jasmine Graywell. Here are the top stories this hour. It was the first full day of campaigning for the federal party leaders, and at the heart of today's discussions were 2 key issues: tax cuts and just how each leader will tackle the ongoing trade war with the United States. Election Day is on April 28th. And the sale signs are up at all but 6 Hudson's Bay locations nationwide and here in Toronto as the retailer began liquidation today. And now time for sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Mike Leach.
Jazz in a battle of 2 bad teams doing a Tankathon Classic down in D.C. between the Raps and Wizards tonight. Wins at this point potentially hurting draft positioning, so that might explain the Wizards' generosity with the basketball.
Cut off by the Raptors, they forced the turnover. That's Washington's 15th. Deep one, far wing is good for Emmanuel Quickly as he rips the cords on a 30-footer.
Emmanuel Quickly with 21 points. Jakob Poeltl also with 21 points and 11 rebounds for the double-double to the Raptors coming away with a 112-104 victory. No sleep till Brooklyn, where the Raptors meet up with the Nets on Wednesday. To college ball, the women's NCAA March Madness finishing up second-round play. Region 2, North Carolina, the 3-seed, numbing West Virginia 58-47 in Region 4. Number 2 seed UConn smashes South Dakota State 91-57. Paige Beckers with 34 points in the win for the Huskies. NHL tonight, the Blue Jackets come back for a 4-3 shootout win over the Islanders. The Leafs getting back at it tomorrow at home against Philly. The Blue and White signing college free agent center Luke Hames to a 2-year entry-level deal tonight. And former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez sentenced to 5 years in prison in California today for attempted murder. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
Oh no, I can't be out of ink. Not now.
Mega Tank.
Why do I always do this to myself? What is that printer that comes with 30 times the ink?
Mega Tank.
Yes, it's a Canon Mega phone?
Mega Tank.
It's a Canon printer. It comes with like $2,000 worth of ink. Prints me over 7,700 color pages.
Mega Tank.
Mega what?
Listen to the voice in your head and get a Canon Mega Tank printer so you don't have to think about ink for a long, long time. Canon Mega Tank printers available at Best Buy, Amazon, and Staples.
Psst, Paul, you up?
Yeah.
Why, Paul?
Oh, I can't stop thinking about how much money I spent on this new mattress. I keep worrying it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't, Paul. You should have gotten your mattress from IKEA like me. So affordable, so comfy, cozy, so much support for my aching back.
Then why can't you sleep?
Because I love to talk to my friend Paul.
Visit IKEA today and start sleeping better tomorrow with everything you need for the bedroom of your dreams.
680 News Time, 10:48 in New Zealand now. Emergency management officials say a 6.7 magnitude earthquake doesn't pose a threat to those on land. RNZ's Marama T-Pole says it happened in the early afternoon off the southern coast of New Zealand's South Island.
The National Emergency Management Agency says there's no threat to land from an earthquake that struck off the lower South Island this afternoon. The 6.7 quake was recorded at 2:23. It was 160 kilometres northwest of the Snares Islands at a depth of 33 kilometres. More than 4,000 people reported feeling it.
Some residents are being told to stay out of the water to avoid strong currents. And one of the city's safe consumption sites was in court today trying to overturn a Ford government law that will see its location and 9 others closed next week. It also includes preventing new ones from opening. 6 Cities Queen's Park reporter Richard Southern reports.
Last December, the Ford government passed the law which will see safe consumption sites located within 200 meters of schools or daycares closed on April 1st. One of them, though, wants an injunction to prevent that. It's owned by the neighborhood group. Bill St. Clair is its CEO.
So we're challenging that because we feel it's harmful to close the service, that it's the service is saving people's lives on a regular basis for the past 8 years. We don't want to turn people away and have people not get health care and possibly be at risk of death or injury.
But Bill, the premier has argued that crime goes up around these sites, and there are individuals who don't want to see needles around daycares and schools.
We dispose of the needles properly. They don't end up outside. Well, the research shows that actually crime goes down around these sites.
It's a 2-day hearing. The judge is expected to rule tomorrow on any possible injunction to keep the sites open. Richard Southern, Queen's Park.
680 News Time, 10:50.
In an economic crisis, you want Mark Carney on your side. As Governor of the Bank of Canada, he steered us through the 2008 global financial crisis. He led the Bank of England through the Brexit crisis. And now he's ready to stand strong against Donald Trump's tariffs. Canadians are ready for change, and Mark Carney has the plan that will cut taxes for the middle class, create new jobs, and build the fastest growing economy in the G7. With Mark Carney, we keep Canada strong.
Authorized by the Registered Agent for the Liberal Party of Canada.
Hey neighbors, it's the Atlas Care Heating and Air Conditioning Special Friends and Family Pricing Event. From now till April 14th, save up to 20% on select air conditioners while inventory lasts. Summer is coming. Now's the time to save with Atlas Care before the weather heats up. It's a great way of helping neighbors stay cool this summer. But don't wait, this deal ends April 14th.
Feel right at home with Atlas Care.
Call Atlas Care today and trust the pros in the green trucks to save you big bucks.
680 News Time, 10:51, and now time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the one. Sasha Roth.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. This report brought to you by Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. So if you're traveling on the westbound 401, some developments with this collision at Nielsen in the collectors. So they have reopened the right lane in the collectors, and they've also opened the left lane of the transfer to the express. It looks like this scene is in the midst of clearing. Yes, there the vehicles are starting to drive off there. I'm seeing one car as they just moved the camera. Not sure if this is a separate issue, but there appears to be a car on the shoulder. Not sure if it struck the guardrail or if it's just stopped there with its four ways on, but we're watching this scene evolve as we speak. It looks like the crash is cleared and there may be a separate issue. We'll know more in the next report. Eastbound 401, east of Leslie in the collectors, there's a stalled vehicle there blocking the right lane. If you're traveling on the southbound 427, problems have cleared south of the 401. There is construction at Burnhamthorpe in the collectors blocking 2 left lanes, and the transfer to the collectors is shut down. That's for construction. On the Niagara-bound QEW, there is a construction closure in effect, so essentially the the Niagara-bound lanes are closed from approaching North Shore to Eastport. You're forced onto Eastport, and then you have to take the lift bridge over the canal, or rather over the Burlington Bay, I should say, not the canal. So the Niagara-bound lanes over the QEW or over the Skyway are closed. Not seeing a significant delay just yet, but that could change as traffic builds up through the area, so just plan ahead. If you're traveling on the Toronto-bound QEW, there's some construction at Dorval. It is in the HOV lane. And on the eastbound 407 at Hurontario, the 3 left lanes are blocked for road work. See why so many clients have referred their friends and family to Diamond & Diamond, Canada's largest injury law firm with over 65 lawyers. Call 1-800-567-HURT for your free consultation. With the forecast, here is Rob Haswell.
A few flurries still possible late evening and overnight tonight, but the wind is still the big weather headline. Strong southwest wind, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, easily gusting up around 50 plus at times. Now we'll continue with the wind, but shift to the west with that throughout the day on Tuesday with a few rain showers and flurries, high near 5. Flurries still in the forecast on Wednesday, high of 3. Some sunshine finally in the forecast on Thursday, although it does get cloudy by Thursday night. Thursday's high near 8. Tonight's low, 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it's partly cloudy, 3 degrees, feeling like -3 when you factor in the wind. 680 News Time, 10:54.
Wahi is the smarter way to buy a home in the GTA because we give you up to 1% cash back no matter where you buy. You could buy a home near the Crosstown-Eglinton line and get thousands in cash back. Then you just sit back and enjoy that extra money until that Eglinton line opens. Which is definitely happening, right? Like in our lifetime? And if you buy and sell with a Wahi Realtor, you get even more cash back. See the details at wahi.com. From Wahi Realty Inc. Brokerage.
Trusted weather.
Before you go,
Ask your smart speaker to play 680 News Radio Toronto.
680 News Time, 10:55. Experts tend to focus on the kinds of food you can eat to improve your health. But the speed at which you eat your dinner matters just as much. Scientists say you're eating too fast if you typically finish a regular-sized meal in less than 20 minutes. That means you could have a higher risk of obesity or swallow more air that leads to bloating. Experts recommend slowing down by putting down your phone, turning off that TV, and focusing on the meal itself. Billboard released the top 10 on its latest 100 chart this afternoon, and several new songs were near the top. Rapper Playboi Carti had 2 tracks in the top 5, including Rather Lie featuring Toronto's own The Weeknd, which debuted at number 4.
I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than...
He also had Evil Jordan in second, and Chappell Roan's country track, The Giver, is in the 5th spot in its first week on the chart. Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther stayed at number 1. Coming up, business.
Oh, I'd rather lie than lose you. I'd rather lie.
Red and white, it runs through the veins of everyone who calls our country home. It brings us closer together, no matter where we are. This spring, patients across Canada need you to give a little red and white. Canadian Blood Services needs 450 new blood and plasma donors every day to fuel Canada's lifeline. Let's get Canada's blood pumping. Book an appointment today at blood.ca/450.
Natasha Ramsahai here, Chief Meteorologist for City News. Did you know that you can now renovate your kitchen, basement, or bathroom starting as low as $199 per month? Our friends at 310 Reno Design and Renovation have made this possible with low-interest financing. Contact the design and build team I trust and Ontario's top-rated team for the last 17 years. Thanks to 310 Reno, I got a beautifully built basement. Don't take a risk with your home. Visit 310reno.ca or dial 310 Reno. No area code required.
And now time for the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Richard Detman.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he will announce tariffs on auto imports in the coming days, ahead of a broader package, but also indicates countries will receive breaks from the tariffs he'll reveal next week. Trump also said he planned to proceed with sector-specific tariffs on lumber and semiconductors, quote, down the road. Earlier in the day, he repeated his threat to impose duties on pharmaceutical imports in, quote, the very near future. The remarks are sowing further confusion about his plans. A Canadian investment firm has changed the name of its U.S.-focused subsidiary to suit the MAGA mood in that country. The name was NV King Goldlands. Now it's Made in America Gold. The parent company is Palisades Gold Corp, based in Vancouver. It says it has more than 10,000 mineral claims in Nevada and holdings in micro and small cap explorers. Lightspeed Commerce has cut its full-year revenue guidance 2 points to 18%, saying lower consumer confidence is affecting discretionary spending. Montreal-based Lightspeed's point-of-sale systems are sold worldwide. Shares of Lightspeed fell 6% today. They're down 35% year-to-date. Stocks rallied today on the prospect for the Trump tariffs not being as broad as first threatened. Also, bargain hunting in the tech sector. At the closing bell, the TSX was up 1 1/3%, 335 points. The Dow gained 598. The S&P up 100 to 57.67. The Nasdaq up 2% or 405 points. The dollar 69.85 cents U.S. Oil 69.25 a barrel. Gold 3,014 an ounce. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
At Desjardins, we speak business. We speak startup funding and comprehensive game plans. We've mastered made-to-measure growth and expansion advice, and we can talk your ear off about transferring your business when the time comes. Because at Desjardins Business, we speak the same language you do. Business. So join the more than 400,000 Canadian entrepreneurs who already count on us and contact Desjardins today. We'd love to talk business.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we're seeing partly cloudy skies, 3 degrees, feeling like -3. 680 News Time, 11 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 680 News Radio, Toronto.
Good evening. It's Monday, March 24th. I'm Kate Hayes.
And I'm Jason Graywell. Here's what's making news right now.
On the first full day of campaigning in the federal election, Conservatives vow a middle-class tax cut. The NDP wants to build 100,000 homes, and the Liberals are focused on the U.S.
Toronto City Councillors are set to vote on whether they will receive a pay bump after a report shows they earn less than their counterparts in similar jurisdictions.
It's the end of the line for most Hudson's Bay stores.
That's bad. You know, they've been around since, 1600?
Today, the company started liquidation sales at all but 6 of its locations.
A court hearing arguments today from a Toronto safe consumption site challenging a Ford government law that will close 10 of them next week.
Closing the service actually creates more needles in the neighborhood, not less.
The Raptors snap a 4-game losing skid with a win over the Wizards in Washington, and the Leafs scoop up a highly touted free agent from the NCAA. Sports at 15.
Donald Trump says Hyundai's plan to invest billions more in the U.S. vindicates his tariffs. TSX rose 335 points. The Nasdaq gained more than 2%. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 11:01.
Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Asher Roth.
This report is brought to you by Access Storage. So if you're traveling westbound on the 401, that collision at Nielsen has now cleared away. Looks like there's a stalled vehicle, though, just past Nielsen in the collectors. It's off to the left shoulder. Another issue that's cleared to the shoulder. Southbound 427, south of the 401, there was a lane blocked. We can see the vehicle stalled there in the same spot spot on the right shoulder. MTO is there, but no lanes are blocked and people are getting by just fine. Eastbound 401 east of Leslie in the collectors. The right lane's blocked there because of a stalled vehicle. There's also construction affecting the major routes. Southbound 427 at Burnhamthorpe in the collectors. The two left lanes are blocked there. The transfer to the collectors approaching Burnhamthorpe is also shut down. On the Niagara-bound QEW, there is a closure in place of the lanes over the Burlington Skyway. So once you get past Plains Fairview, you are forced onto the ramp to Eastport, and then you're forced to take the lift bridge over the Burlington Bay Canal. You can then get back on using the Eastport ramp onto the QEW past the lift bridge. I am seeing a delay as drivers are forced onto that off-ramp off of the Niagara-bound lanes. But once you get onto Eastport itself, it is moving up to speed. Eastbound QEW near Dorval, the HOV and left lane are both blocked for construction. For over 25 years, Access Storage has been supporting our communities from coast to coast. Now more than ever, they ask you to buy Canadian, store Canadian, and support local. Visit accessstorage.ca. With the forecast, here's meteorologist Rob Haswell.
A few flurries still possible late evening and overnight tonight, and we remain windy with a strong southwest wind, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, and stronger wind gusts at times. Our overnight low for tonight dips down to near zero.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, 3 degrees, feeling like -3. 680 News Time, 11:03.
Canada votes 2025.
Canada's major party leaders got right to work on the first full day of the federal election campaign, with just over 5 weeks for them to convince voters to put an X next to their party on the ballot.
Newfoundland, Montreal, and the 905 were all in the spotlight. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney is in Ottawa following all the promises and photo ops.
Speaking in Brampton, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is vowing a tax cut for the middle class.
Reducing the lowest bracket from 15 to 12.75, which is a 2.25 percentage point reduction.
The Liberals have a similar tax cut promise, but it's only 1%. Liberal leader Mark Carney, meanwhile, in Gander, Newfoundland, where thousands of Americans were welcomed on 9/11, he discussed the need to use those historic ties in addressing our trade war with the U.S., but also used an interview Alberta's premier did with Breitbart News in order to attack Poilievre and link him to President Trump.
As Daniel Smith has said, Pierre Poilievre is in sync with Donald Trump.
Carney suggests President Trump is waiting for the outcome of this election before engaging with our prime minister. Earlier in Montreal, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh vowed to use public land to build 100,000 rent-controlled homes by 2035. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Toronto councillors will soon be voting on whether or not to give themselves a pay hike of nearly 25%. The city manager and chief people officer say in a report the last adjustment to compensation for councillors, aside from inflationary cost increases, was adopted by City Council in 2006. They're recommending City Council approve an increase that would put the councillor's base salary at just over $170,500. It's currently around $137,500. If the recommendation is approved, it would cost the city almost $1 million. The report is set to be debated at a city council meeting that gets underway on Wednesday.
680 News Time, 11:05. The head of the Ajax Library Board is trying to assure the public that its branches are safe despite an attack on a woman wearing a hijab over the weekend. A woman was in the main branch on Harwood Avenue over the noon hour on Saturday when another woman tried to remove her hijab while pouring an unknown liquid on it. Police allege the suspect then tried to set the hijab on fire. The board chair tells Omni News security stepped in when they heard the woman screaming.
We do not, have incidents like this happening in our library. It's a safe and welcoming space. We work very hard to keep it so.
25-year-old Kaylee Ann Frere of Ajax is charged with 2 counts of assault with a weapon and 3 counts of failing to comply with a probation order.
680 News Time, 11:06. Just 6 stores will be left in Canada after Hudson's Bay triggered liquidation sales nationwide. Shoppers now looking for a bargain at the iconic Canadian retailer. 680's Phil Martino joins us from the soon-to-be shuttered Fairview Mall location.
Liquidation sales are on at the Hudson's Bay location at Fairview Mall. This is one of the locations that will be permanently closed. Shoppers like Steve tell me they feel bad about what's happened to Canada's oldest company.
It's, they've been around since what, 1600s?
But it's not stopping shoppers like Morgan from checking out the sales.
Then I heard that, the Bay unfortunately is going out of business and was coming to see what the sales were like so far.
If you plan to shop during the liquidation, you can use gift cards until April the 6th. You cannot use your loyalty points. Hudson's Bay is hoping to finish this liquidation by mid-June. All sales at these liquidated stores will be final. I'm Phil Martino.
680 News Time, 11:07. A pedestrian has been struck and killed in an apparent hit and run on the westbound 407 in Markham. The 53-year-old man was hit at McCowan Road just after 6 this morning. OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says the driver did not stop.
If you are that driver, please come forward. We certainly need to find out what happened, what took place, and we're working on the circumstances of what brought that person down onto the travel lanes of the westbound 407.
Police have now identified what they're calling a vehicle of interest, a white tanker truck with a blue and yellow logo on the side. Witnesses are also being asked to come forward.
680 News Time, 11:08. Officials from one of the Toronto supervised consumption sites set to close next week due to a Ford government law were in court today fighting to keep it open. 680's Richard Southern has more.
It was last December the Ford government passed a law which will see 10 safe consumption sites close next week. They're deemed to be too close to schools and daycares. One of the sites, though, is looking for an injunction to stop this, and they're in court today. Bill St. Clair is the CEO of the neighborhood group Community Services.
More than 10 sites are closing in just a matter of days, and people's lives and health will be at risk. So we're asking the courts to stop that, to take a second look at this legislation.
Because people will say, Bill, I don't want needles around my kid's daycare or my kid's school. I mean, is that a fair argument? Is that a reasonable argument?
We dispose of the needles properly. They don't end up outside. In fact, closing them is going to mean there's going to be more of them outside on the street, in the laneway, and God forbid, in parks.
The Ford government has argued crime goes up around the safe consumption sites. This is a 2-day hearing. The judge expected to rule tomorrow. Richard Southern, Queen's Park.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll have your gas price update. 680